Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys joint practice versus the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to be talking about all the positive things for the most part. I'm going to talk about the negative as well because that's what comes with anything that you really do in life, but especially football. There's good and there's negative. But mainly when they're talking about these training camp situations, you're most likely going to see the highlights. That's what it's for. Today was for the veterans to really sharpen up because they're really not going to get in the preseason. So, of course, the young guys, you're going to see a lot of young guys making clips and making headlines. But, we're going to be talking about Dak Prescott doing his thing. Eric Kendricks showing out his smarts and sniffing out plays and showing his savviness as a vet. Then we're going to be talking about Mozzie Smith progressing. And I'm still by his side because I understand what this defensive tackle position is, especially at one tech, because I've seen so many defensive tackles that played nose tech like Dexter Lawrence, Quentin Williams both get drafted in the same draft class in 2019, and they both didn't really make names for themselves into the third, fourth year. So development is very key at the defensive tackle position, any position in the NFL. Development doesn't stop once you get to the league. We're going to be talking about undrafted free agent Nathaniel Pete having a great run with great contact balance and everything of that nature. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man.
Yeah, you say shit about this and about that. They got shit to say about everything, but let's get to the fact. I see them trying to cut out all the real shit.
I'm going to start out the clip. You're going to show Rico Dowdle having a big run. The offensive line did their thing today. I think the only part that they had troubles with were the edges. And again, I'm talking about the Los Angeles Rams because, again, I keep up with all of these NFL teams, how they're drafted, how they're built, their coaches, and everything of that nature, right? Byron Young is a bona fide pass rusher, and he made his name for himself last year, having 10-plus sacks. Have the other edge rusher that they drafted out of Florida State, where Jared Verse, he's a hell of a edge as well, and that's somebody that we're going to possibly. This might be a team that we practice today. We take our business and we win the division. This might be a team that we might see wild card weekend. I'm being for real and I'm being truthful. We're healthy. We make our plays. This is possibly a team we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see a Jared Verse. We're gonna have to see a Brighton Fisk at defensive tackle, who's a pass rusher type dude that can get upfield. He can play edge if he wants to. He's a bit of a tweener. He's like 290 plus pounds. But I think he's going to be a really good defensive tackle in this league. So is Jared Verse. I think Jared Verse is going to be really great. And I think the Rams have a really young football team on that overall, but especially on the defensive side of that football. And I feel like once they bring it together, I think they're going to be they're going to be a threat again in the NFC. And we're seeing it on display as well. I heard Jared Verse was doing his licks in versus Terrence Steele and Chuma Edoga. So again, that's not too much to be suspected about. Like, really knew that was going to happen. With those two guys, it's fine. That's why I wanted Tyler Guyton to get his reps in today, but I understand he is coming off his chest cold is what the sickness was, and the illness is what kept him out of practice the past couple of days. So I did get an update from that. And proud of today is Ryan Flournoy, and I'm really glad. And the reason why I'm proud of him is, one, because he's a draft pick, and then two, I really like that he's coming in and making a name for himself because once you're hurt and you're missing a couple of days and almost a week of training camp with pads on, and you're hearing guys, his other locker mates and his other teammates starting his first, second, third year, right? Jalen Marino Cropper, especially in the prior days when it was just cowboy and cowboy action, Jalen Cropper was making a lot of noise. So was Jalen Tolbert, Turpin, Tyron Billy Johnson. So there was a ton of receivers that were making a bunch of noise. So I'm glad that Ryan Flournoy was coming in. He had a couple big snags, climbing the ladder, catching some receptions, coming down with them, making big plays, and that's what we need. And we drafted him to possibly be a receiver that sees a lot of action next year. And hopefully he shows out. And again, if you don't start this year, anything can happen. Injuries can happen. We understand that Jerry Jones is trying to play around and Stephen Jones is trying to play around with CeeDee Lamb's money. So we might have to depend on a Ryan Flournoy if the Dallas Cowboys want to make a quote-unquote statement and they think that they're standing on business. I think we're going to win and things of that nature. But the Joneses, they don't really care because they don't face any scrutiny, right? So we're going to find out the hard way week one if we don't have CeeDee Lamb. And we're going to have to depend on guys like Ryan Flournoy or some of these young guys. And then again, Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks looked great today as well. So did Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott looked sharp as well today. I'm really proud of that as well. He had a couple of really good throws as suspected as well. Again, he had a bomb to Brandon Cooks. He rolled out. Pocket broke down. He rolled out to his left, threw on the money to Brandon Cooks. He was wide open for a big play. He connected to Cooks when they was working red zone and there was an under 2 minute drill. They connected on the back of the end zone. Brandon Cooks made a hell of a catch. Proud of him as well. And then again, Mozzie Smith doing his thing. He had a one-on-one rep, and I was seeing that a lot of times in this league. Not in this league, but just when I pay attention to these NFL players, and I'm seeing when Mozzie Smith, we already know he's a 6'3" athlete, weighs 300 pounds, right, officially. But when he's going up against these lighter guards that cannot deal with power, Mozzie Smith is going to win. So I think when we're going up against some of these teams, and if we're fortunate enough, we're playing against some of these guards that are inexperienced, and we're playing these first, second year, third year aspect of the NFL part down, then they're just easy going to get shedded by Mozzie Smith. So I think in a pass rush situation, and we're playing against a guard that cannot deal with power, I think Mozzie can do a really good job at just pushing the pocket. I think that's all what we're really suspecting out of him at a one tech. I'm not. I don't want the. Everyone wants the up defensive tackle where you can weigh 330 pounds, can pass rush, get upfield, play the run really good, and everything like that. Like it's something has to give, right? So I think with Mozzie, if he can just be a pocket pusher, I think that's what he can be. I think his main job when we brought him into is to stop and plug gaps. If he's able to take on double teams and does a really good job of doing that, and we have really young athletic linebackers like Overshown, Maris Lewis-File, Damone Clark, and then you got Eric Kendricks, who's still a really good vet that can read out these plays and step out these run plays. As you saw, he stepped out a run play talking about Eric Kendricks came in, made a play, and just threw the running back off his feet and just made a hell of a play. So again, Mike Smith is a very key cog into what this defense can be, and we talk about it all the time how great and why you need to build your team from the inside out. If Mike Smith can come in and can make tremendous play, and he's a huge developmental piece, and we can develop him correctly, and he keeps gaining confidence and everything of that nature, and he just gets better throughout the season goes. I think the better Mozzie Smith is, that's how much better our defense can be. That's how much better our linebackers can be. Everyone else will be. It all depends on Mozzie Smith. I know that's a lot of pressure to a young player like that, but that's what happens with the Joneses do. They put you in this predicament, so it's time for you to show out and things of that nature, right? He had a really great run today. Again, I talked about Ron Florida, had a really nice route, had a great catch today in practice. Then going to be talking about Kyle Yeomans and his early observations from the Cowboys and Rams practice. When Dak has time to throw, he's dealing, and that was evident. When he had time in the pocket, Dak Prescott was dealing. There wasn't much that anybody could do, and that's pretty much with every great quarterback or any above average or any elite quarterback. Once you give him enough time, and again, Dak Prescott is just entering his prime, which is crazy to say how long he's been in the league. But really great quarterbacks don't really ascend until they're in their 30s, and that's where Dak Prescott is. And when he has that time, he's going to be dealing. There's not much that defensive coordinator can really throw at him, and that's why I love that we have Mike Zimmer, just because Mike Zimmer is able to put so much knowledge on Dak Prescott and able to disguise so much, because that's what the Niners, Detroit, Houston Texans, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Ravens. The Ravens love disguising defensively. So does the Browns with Schwartz. Dak has experience against him against his rookie year, so we're not really too surprised what Schwartz can do. Cooks, Brandon Cooks really is the most versatile receiver. Again, that was really good as well. Verse and Micah have similar impacts on opposing offensive tackles, meaning that they both were making plays and getting to the backfield and tackling the quarterback a lot. So again, I already talked about Jerry Verse and this young Rams. Defensively, they look like a really good unit defensively, and I really like what the Rams are putting together right now, seriously, from a defensive side of the football. Mike Parsons is going to be Micah Parsons. I'm not too worried about him at all. And then the Cowboys offense has been communicating at a high level. Great. That's nothing much new to me. Dak has been in this system for his second year now, technically under Mike McCarthy's system. He's been coaching with Mike McCarthy for the longest, and Mike McCarthy has the utmost in the reins of this offense, so I'm not really too concerned about that. And then Eric Kendricks, again, his reads are so quick, and that's what happens when you play in the league as long as he has, and how extensive he was coming out of UCLA. And that's, again, one of my favorite position on the defense is linebacker. But again, some of my favorite players of all time are the players that can beat you with their mind instead of their physical attributes. That's cool when they're young and they're in their prime. But when you're playing 10, 11, 13 years into the league, once your athleticism is gone, well, all you have is right here. And if you can use this, you can do anything you want, right? So I think, again, Kendricks is not that same bursty type of dude that he was in Minnesota. But again, if he's able to see a play, he's quick enough to go down and go make a play. And again, as long as Mozzie and the defensive line are doing their part and holding up their gaps and not getting pushed back, I think we're going to be fine as a defensive unit. I think offensively we're going to be great. I think we're going to be even better once we get this CeeDee Lamb contract done and Dak Prescott's contract done. I need both of those contracts to get done and put away, and let that be the end of the offseason. And we'll just focus on camp. And I think that's what's really hard for us as Dallas Cowboy fans. Don't feel bad for us. It is what it is. We picked the team that we love, right? But again, it's hard for us to root for this team when your ownership isn't putting things to bed. Again, contracts need to put that to bed. Need to take care of everything that we need to do. Again, I talked about this organization enough times, right? I bagged on them enough. I tell people all the time, like, we'll never win. You know, with the Joneses, and then also, it's very tough to root for this team when all they want is just immediate attention on them. So again, Cowboy fans, keep your head up. Die-hard Cowboy fans, keep your head up. I know I don't want to get all doom and gloom at the end of the video, but again, I know some of us want to talk about that CeeDee Lamb contract situation. I think it's an unfortunate situation. I think this is the first time they're ever seeing. This isn't going to be the last time we see it. We think it's ugly now with CeeDee Lamb. Imagine what Micah Parsons is going to be when he's going to demand much more money than CeeDee Lamb. Like, the only person that's going to get a lot more money will be Dak Prescott. But again, the next highest paid player for the Dallas Cowboys will be Michael Parsons. And it's going to get much uglier next year. Jay Tuck and a lot of people that pay attention to these scenarios, it gets really ugly around this time. It happened with Zeke in 2019. It gets very ugly for any of the players that push back. What happened with Dez Bryant, it gets very ugly. And the Joneses hate when players fight for their money. They hate for it. And sometimes the players get the bitter end of the stick when it comes down to these negotiations. And hopefully that's why there's so many great agents out there, like, Todd France and Rosenhaus, and there's so many great NFL or just sports talent agents in general. And I love that a lot of players and have a lot of great agents. So I'm glad they're able to come together and stand on business and stand for what's right. And CeeDee Lamb's going to get his money. It's a matter of when and how much it's going to be. I don't really care for how much because they ain't coming out of my money, but it doesn't even matter because give him blank check. He deserves all the money coming towards him. That's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.